Through time, we humans have developed many forms of technology, enabling us to access to things more easily and fast. We're in a time where everything can be possible with only imagine it and focus on the final product. All of this thanks to technology and scientific researches. But those researches have came also with their consequences. People lived in harmony with their environment before the 19th century, before the Industrial Revolution took place. If industrialization spread along the world, so the pollution. They are joined together. But things were different a long time ago. When population was much smaller, people didn't think of pollution as a problem in the future. People thought that the oceans were far too big to pollute. They didn't take the necessary actions in their moment. Now the limits appear when we are around 7 billion people on the planet. Humans have exceeded those limits since pollution exists, and it is only one of the signs that there are limits we cannot evade. Pollution is a recent creation in the planet's history, thanks to the humans.
But not all researches came with bad consequences. There are also good consequences. Since technology and science is improving, we can use that technology in water to detect the pollutants that are now attacking our fresh water. Those pollutants we are detecting are different from what we knew just 100 years before. They are coming in smaller concentrations. Water bodies such as rivers, oceans, lakes and others are in danger because of these pollutants, substances that are lying suspended in water bodies or being dissolved in them. They may lower the level quality of the water. Usage, people live to it, and endanger many species. This contamination is called water pollution. Water pollution means that one or more substances have built up in water to such an extent that they cause problems for living beings. Water pollution is all about quantities. Those quantities are referred to a pollution substance as a solute and the volume water as a solvent.
Coming up next, the most usual groups of causes by which water pollution can be caused. Thus, water pollution has diverse causes, and this is a reason why it is so hard to eradicate completely this problem. Sewage. Sewage is the biggest problem to solve in the topic concerned to water pollution because of the billions of people that coexist in the world, all of them depositing sewage into the oceans. This type of contamination affects the people's environment and can lead to water-related illnesses such as diarrhea. In theory, sewage is a natural substance that can be broken down without having consequences at all in the environment because 90% of sewage is water. Nutrients. In moderate quantities and suitable treated, sewage can be used as fertilizer, as chemical fertilizers, which are used by farmers to add nutrients to the soil, but then it is drained into water bodies. There they can cause an increase in the growth of algae or plankton that overwhelms huge areas of the water bodies and can cause a harmful algal bloom. It removes oxygen from the water, killing many other species around the area and forming dead zones. Wastewater. It is composed by washed down drains and discharge from factories. The world generates perhaps 5 to 10 billion tons of industrial waste third year, and most of it is untreated and pumped into our rivers and oceans. No matter factories are one of the main causes of water pollution, citizens can cause also pollution from non-point resources. Chemical waste. In this category enter the detergents, which are mild substances. At the opposite end of the spectrum are highly toxic chemicals such as polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs. Heavy metals are another toxic and bad pollution. Some heavy metals include cadmium, mercury, and lead. Years ago, lead was used as gasoline. Mercury and cadmium is still being a part of batteries. A few time ago, TBT was discovered by scientists. This new pollutant is highly toxic chemical called riboltine or TBT. Radioactive waste. This is the most dangerous of all. People view radioactive with great alarm, and they were right to this because of its dangerous composition. At high concentrations it can kill, but not only in high concentrations it can harm. It can also harm in few concentrations, causing diseases and cancers. There is an actual biggest source of radioactive pollution in Europe. Oil pollution. Only 12% of oil pollution comes from tanker accidents and a male percent comes from the shipping routine, but what makes tankers spills so destructive is that concentrations of oil in a very localized part of the marine environment. Plastics. This group of pollutants is the most common substance in the ocean and beaches because it is the most used material in the markets and it is light causing it to float easily in the ocean, so it can travel enormous distances, but also because plastic is not a biodegradable material, causing it to survive a long time in the oceans. Perhaps plastic are not as toxic as poisonous chemicals, but they can present a problem for the living beings that habit in that ecosystem. Alien species. Pollution can be biological as chemical, and in some places, aliens are the main problem. Alien species are animals or plants from a region that have been introduced into a different ecosystem, so they have no natural predators, and they have to take other animals or plants to provoke a kind of imbalance. Other forms of pollution. Some examples of form of pollution are thermal pollution, which is caused by factories and power plants. This causes problems in rivers because it reduces the amount of oxygen dissolved in water. Other type of pollution involves the disruption of sediments that flow from rivers into the sea. The extra sediment can block the gills of fish, effectively suffocating them.
In Mexico, a big disaster happened on August 8. A mine named Group Mexico spilled millions of gallons of sulfuric acid, copper, sulfate, and heavy metals into the Sonora River. It happened at Sonora State in Mexico. This event is being called the worst ecological disaster in Mexican history.
But it just not finishes here, because it has damaged thousands of people or families which don't have water supply in their houses, and right now they depend on water wells which may be contaminated by the spill. This is affecting at least 22,000 people living nearby the accident. For them, it is important to know the presence of water and quality of it, because exposure to toxic heavy metals can cause many damages in the health, beginning with damages in the liver, renal, and reproductive systems, the lungs, and ending with cancer, hepatitis, and osteoporosis. Some toxic metals even hurt and damage the neurological system.
Greenpeace, an organization that is involved in green actions, went to Sonora to carry out samples from the different areas and document the situation lived there. They researched for information in order to find out the quality of drinking water and to measure the quantities of heavy metal present in it. Another lab test was made with water samples that the inhabitants recollected that day of the accident. The results showed that toxic metals, cadmium, arsenic, chromium, and copper were present in high concentrations above the World Health Organization advisory limits for drinking water.
To avoid future problems and prevent the people from diseases, now bottled water is being supplied to the population. Just by looking to this situation, citizens and future investors will have the idea that in Mexico you have free liberty to pollute.
Since the past 20 years, Mexico is having very lax diligence and verifications with companies that had been operating in the country, but this decision had brought terrible consequences. The costly degradation of ecosystems has been brought by the opportunity of having new jobs and economic improvements.
Greenpeace advocate caution as the only way to prevent accidents like this one, because they think that having precautionary laws may help to stop these accidents, and the prevention that the affected population will not be ignored in these cases. Many countries with this problem have already taken action on the matter because suffering an accident of chemical waste is very dangerous. In order to prevent chemical waste, the country may follow regulations such as Resource Conservation and Recovery Act and Clean Water in the United States. Those acts are regulating the factories in the USA. Another act that is regulating a country is the COSHH in the United Kingdom. There are also mechanisms that help to regulate the chemical wastes, like the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA.
Water pollution is a big and difficult problem. That's why it is not easy way to solve it. But there are three different things that we as a country can do in order to decrease future water pollution. Many countries have already taken these preventions.
Education. The first step to solve the problem is to make people aware of it through education. Great Britain has experimented this type of prevention when, in the 90s, surfers from a group called Surfers Against Sewage forced water companies and the government to clean up the water because of their despair of catching illness from the water polluted with sewage. Then more people started to enter in the cause by organizing community beach cleaning sessions and campaigns for other penalties against those companies that pollute the rivers. Great public awareness can make a positive difference. Loss. One of the biggest problems of water pollution is that water bodies relate to diverse countries. Therefore, an accident occurring in a country where there are poor environmental standards can affect neighbor nations, even though if those neighbor countries had better and tougher laws that prevented those accidents from occurring. Environmental laws can prevent water pollution from happening in a country. but to be effective, they need to be applied nationally and internationally. This is why we have international laws governing the oceans, such as the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, signed by 120 nations. Another one is the London Convention, the International Convention on the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, and finally the Convention for the Protection of the Marine Environment of the Northeast Atlantic. The European Union is also taking action on the matter by applying water protection laws to all of its members, like the Bathing Water Directive, which is in search of ensuring the quality of the waters that people use for recreation. Economics. There is a debate of knowing which is the best way to prevent water pollution, and most environmental experts agree that the best way to eradicate this contamination is by something called the polluter pays principle. This principle focuses on the fact that whoever causes pollution should have to pay the fees in order to clean up the disaster. Ultimately, the polluter pays principle is trying to deter people from polluting by making it less expensive for them to behave in an environmentally responsible way. Water pollution is one of the most difficult problems in contamination to solve, but we humans have already acted on the matter. Nowadays, we count with many regulations to restrict the industries and agricultural operations from pouring pollutants into the water of lakes, rivers, and streams. Technology is also helping this issue by filtration and treatment plants. It may be expensive, but that makes our water safer to drink. Green infrastructure is a new term that is being applied to describe rain gardens and green rooms that naturally filter out pollutants. But this is only a reality in some cities. Therefore, there are other cities with less infrastructure that are facing pollution threats due to their actual position, being identified as cities of the developing world.
We can only hope to see a change in the future, or we can act on the matter and start to change since today. Remember that we are the only responsible of the downgrading of the world, but we can also be the responsible of the betterment of it. The choice is yours.